the dark barber, cutting modern hair. In the busy streets of Lagos, where life never seemed to slow down, there lived a barber named Ogbonna. His shop was famous across the area for giving the best haircuts. From morning till night, men from all walks of life came to sit in his chair, and Ogbonna, with his practiced hands, transformed their hair into perfect styles. People loved his skill, but what they didn't know was that Ogbonna's success wasn't entirely natural. Behind the scenes, Ogbonna held a dark secret, a secret that brought him unimaginable wealth but also promised doom if he ever failed to keep his end of a deadly bargain. Ogbonna's life wasn't always filled with luxury. Years ago, he struggled like everyone else. He barely earned enough from his barber shop to feed himself. Frustrated by his circumstances, he began to seek out ways to improve his life. He heard rumors of an old herbalist in a faraway Igbo village, known for granting power and riches to those willing to pay the price. His name was Ezemmuo. Ezemmuo's village lay deep in the forest, far from Lagos. It was said that those who sought him had to travel for days, through rivers and dangerous paths, to reach his shrine. Ogbonna, desperate for wealth, took the journey. He traveled for 5 days and nights, following the directions given by those who had visited Ezemmuo. On the 6th day, he arrived at the hidden village, where the herbalist lived alone in a dark hut, surrounded by thick trees and eerie silence. When Ogbonna stood before Ezemmuo, the old herbalist's eyes glowed like embers, as if he could see straight into Ogbonna's soul. "You seek wealth and power, don't you?" Ezemmuo asked with a chilling voice. Ogbonna nodded, too terrified to speak. The herbalist smiled slowly, revealing teeth stained from years of chewing bitter herbs. "I can give you what you want. But you must give something in return. There is a ritual you must perform every 3 days. You will collect the hair of 21 men who visit your barber shop and bring it to me. In exchange, I will bless you with riches beyond your imagination." Ogbonna listened carefully. There was no hesitation in his heart. He was ready to do whatever it took to become rich. But, Ezemmuo continued, "If you ever fail to bring me the hair of 21 men within 3 days, the spirits will claim your life. Do not forget this." With the pact made, Ezemmuo gave Ogbonna a clay pot, explaining that this pot would hold the hair of his customers, which would be the key to his fortune. Ogbonna returned to Lagos, filled with excitement and greed. Back in Lagos, Ogbonna's barber shop flourished like never before. Men poured in day and night, eager to have their hair cut by the master barber. Ogbonna, true to his word, collected the hair of 21 men every 3 days. He carefully stored it in the clay pot, then traveled back to the distant village to deliver the hair to Ezemmuo. The ritual brought him immense wealth. Ogbonna became one of the richest men in Lagos. He built houses, bought expensive cars, and wore the finest clothes. People marveled at his sudden rise to fortune, but no one knew the truth behind his wealth. Each time Ogbonna returned from his journey to the herbalist village, he grew more powerful, but also more reckless. He no longer cared about the lives of the men whose hair he took. They were merely stepping stones in his path to glory. Over time, some of his customers began to feel drained after visiting him, but they never suspected that their hair was the cause. For years, Ogbonna lived in luxury, careful to always collect the required 21 men's hair within 3 days. He never questioned the warning that Ezemmuo had given him. until one fateful week, when everything began to fall apart. It was during a particularly busy festival season that things changed. Lagos was alive with festivities, and Ogbonna was confident that getting 21 men's hair in 3 days would be easy. But strangely, fewer men showed up at his shop. Some were busy with the celebrations, while others had traveled to see family. As the hours ticked by, Ogbonna grew anxious. On the 3rd day, Ogbonna had only collected the hair of 18 men. He panicked, realizing that if he didn't have the full 21 hairs, the ritual would fail, and the spirits would come for him. Desperate, he tried everything, offering free haircuts, calling in favors, but nothing worked. By sunset, Ogbonna was still short of the required number. Fear gnawed at him. He knew the price of failure. With no other option, he gathered what hair he had and made the long journey back to Ezemmuo's village, hoping the herbalist would accept it and find a way to save him. When Ogbonna arrived, the look in Ezemmuo's eyes told him all he needed to know. "You have failed," the herbalist said, his voice low and filled with menace. "The spirits do not tolerate failure." Ogbonna fell to his knees, begging for mercy. "Please, Ezemmuo. I tried. Just give me more time." But the herbalist shook his head. "Time is not something the spirits give freely. You broke the pact, and now, the price must be paid." From that moment on, Ogbonna's life descended into chaos. The very next day, his most luxurious mansion caught fire. No one knew how it started, but the flames consumed everything. The following day, another one of his houses mysteriously burned to the ground. His expensive cars, parked safely in his garages, suddenly malfunctioned and were destroyed in freak accidents. Ogbonna watched in horror as everything he had built crumbled before his eyes. His wealth, his status, his possessions, all gone in a matter of days. Terrified, Ogbonna returned to Ezemmuo, hoping to find a way out, but the herbalist hut was gone. The village had vanished, as if it had never existed. The spirits had taken back everything they had given him, and Ogbonna was left with nothing. As the 3rd day of calamity dawned, Ogbonna's health began to fail. His body, once strong and proud, withered away. He became frail, his skin sagging, his eyes hollow. The people of Lagos, who once envied his wealth, now whispered about his sudden fall from grace. By the end of the 7th day, Ogbonna was found lying by the roadside, lifeless and forgotten. He had died a disgraceful death, like a stray dog, with nothing to his name but the ashes of his greed. And so ends the tragic tale of Ogbonna, the dark barber, a man whose greed led him to a dark path of destruction. Remember, no matter how tempting the offer of wealth and power may be, the cost is always too high. Thank you for watching this episode of Ancestral Oath. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating stories from the rich heart of African folklore. Until next time.